SUNY purchase, just part-time.
Okay.
What do you teach?
Painting and drawing, yeah.
Can you come to New York Studio School to teach?
Well, I've never ever taught there.
Yeah, you will be really welcome.
I would teach a class there once in a while. I know Karen Wilpin very well.
Oh yeah.
I think she's my connection to that place.
That's a good one.
She's very, she comes across as very cool and cold, but she's very passionate. She loves painting.
Yeah.
She's a great, she'll
knows a
travel.
She knows a lot.
Yeah, she does. I love that about her. She really loves things. Yeah, we get on super well.
But just know that the color, you can tell what is a favorite color.
Right.
Which one?
I don't have one.
But just know that if you said about color, I will have a favorite color. No?
No, I was saying it's impossible.
Oh, okay.
So it's I mean, there are artists, okay, you know how there are artists that sort of are particularly telling you important things this year or these months, and then somebody else later. So there are always artists like that. And then there are ones, I'll say that I do go back to, that's just, the building does that. To ignore. Like Soutine is someone I always can dive into and just remind myself how out of control you can be and still come out with that much sharpness. He's like, but you know, a lot of artists have that. As long as there's a voice in that painting, I've learned, I was a guard at the Met. So that was how I learned to paint, because my school, my college was 100% conceptual when I went there in the mid-70s. So I really learned how to think about art, but I didn't learn anything about painting.
Were you nighttime or a daytime guard?
Daytime.
Nice.
And at the Met, you used to, I don't know how it is now, you used to be able to pick your section. So I would just move from section to section where the paintings were, like, 19th century French, and then go to the general, section B was the general, the historical paintings and contemporaries and American. And I would paint at night, and I would go in the day and get schooled. You know who was really, really good at teaching me and slapping me around was Cézanne. And he's someone I never had liked until I started guarding there. I mean, I respected him, but I never got it. And I started guarding. They have a particularly good, amazing collection. But I learned so much about very literal things, like what you can, how you make something. How you do something. It's all like easy to see in a Cézanne, in a Van Gogh too. You could see how he did that, and then he changed his mind, and he added that, it's all there. So it's very useful. Some paintings, it's harder to see that. And some are just, because we're so used to looking at digital images, it just blows your mind. When you look as worker to worker, in a museum, like, don't go and enjoy yourself. Go as a worker going, well, so how do you make that? Which gears do you put in there to make this and that work? Like, you have to speak to the painter and painting as a fellow worker. Think of it that way. And get as close as you can. I tell everyone I can, as a former guard, the way to get close to a painting and not get too scolded, although there's always some anal guard that's going to get you, is you stand not too close. You really demonstratively put your hands behind your back and then lean in. Don't ever bring those hands out. Like, get your face really close, but don't bring those hands out. The minute they see that figure, they freak. You could be kissing the painting, they don't care, right? As long as your hands aren't there. That's my how to look at a painting close, because you need to get close, right? To really see
Yeah.
what's going on. Yeah.
Have you ever been asked, and how would you answer if anyone says, what are you trying to say with your painting?
How would I be gracious in answering that? Because it's not really a question that can be answered. It's a story, it's a painting, it's an abstract painting story. And things are, I can't say that's a that, unless you're a painter, or once in a while, like I just speed it up, like those are the clothes. But what am I trying to say? I'm just trying to take you on a trip. You know, it's kind of like saying, okay, Ludwig van Beethoven, what are you trying to say in the slow movement? You know, what?
Somebody writing about your work might be able to come up with
They would
something.
say it's so much better.
Yeah.
They say it's so much better than I can. And it's another kind of magic where when someone says to you what they're seeing or experiencing, or somebody writes, and it's real and true, and you never thought of it that way, that's also magic. Because you're like, holy shit, it's really working. Whoa, that's crazy. How can that be? It's just stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of reaffirms. But at least it's an invitation to at least with my paintings, to let some of the expectations and hierarchies of how a painting comes into being go away a little.
Can you say that again?
I doubt it.
Basically, way to let the
The expectations that a painting should be a certain way, to get rid of that a little, to allow someone to see a painting that has just been created at that one moment for that one purpose.
right.
And that each work is made for itself.
Right.
And it's not the only way to paint, because many artists work in series, where they develop a technique. This is how I developed to do it. That's equally as valid. But for me, this is what's valid. Because all I know for sure is what's going on right now. And all the rest, it's true, it hasn't gone anywhere, but it sort of has to come back in on its own. So that every combination of the past that comes to the painting you're working on now is a new combination of a huge number of things. And you don't know which combination that's going to be, plus something new. So that you're always like not knowing what it is until you painted it. That's why my